Alright, so for our theater company, we have what's called the MATG Festival. So it's basically the Massachusetts Educational Theater Guild Festival. So a bunch of schools from Massachusetts all get together and they put on a 40-minute straight show.
And you start with prelims, which is different locations, 8 schools at each location, and then out of those 8 schools come the top 3. And those top 3 get separated. You're at completely different schools now at semifinals. 6 schools at each location.
They'll pick 2 winners from there, from the 7 different sites, which will go on to states. The state festival in Boston is always at the John Hancock building, which is a really nice theater.
So basically now it's down about 150 schools to 14 by the time you get to states. And then states is a 3-day long process where you see all of the shows over the course of those 3 days.
METG is awesome. Festival's so much fun. It's a great way to meet other kids who are interested in a lot of the same things as you. And if theater is like your passion or what you do, it's pretty much it's the competition aspect of it for those kids.
So for our school, we did The White Snake, which is a 40-minute show about it's like a Chinese fable. So essentially it's about these 2 snakes, the white and the green snake spirits, who live on top of this mountain, and they decide they want to go down and be humans for a day.
And then one ends up falling in love, and there's an evil wizard who goes after them. It's very interesting.
And so they basically struggle to keep their secret and hide things from Shushen until everything kind of comes to this breaking point.
And it's like, when you first read the script, it was like, oh, this is the script. But then we started putting it together, and there's so many technical elements to it. It's so complicated.
Different from other shows in the sense that we have a lot of different elements that all come together to create this kind of uniform world that's also fun and magical.
Lighting works really well with the show. We use 3 kabuki drops from Japanese theater, which are like thin see-through white material that you can put silhouettes up on, and when you put lights on them they turn into those colors, and we use those to introduce a lot of characters and to do a lot of the narration parts of it.
Like we have all these really great costumes that are very beautiful that we've kind of incorporated. Our show is Asian in nature, so we have a lot of different things that are very traditional, but with that fun aspect of movement that is kind of fresh and new.
We use a lot of traditional Chinese aspects, such as we have a dragon that you see in a lot of Chinese festivals. We have a lion costume that you see in a lot of Chinese festivals. There's a lot of cool traditional aspects of it that really help to legitimize the high school theater aspect of it, kind of make you forget that you're watching a high school show, because it ends up really being that impressive.
Another thing that makes our specific show cool, we have like 2 people on stilts and they have to walk on those to create the stag spirit and the crane spirit, and they do it effortlessly.
Another great part that we have is the live music that was written by one of the students here at the school. I perform in that as well as being on stage, and it's a lot of music that we took a lot of things from traditional Chinese music.
We have a lot of choreography, which is really cool. Student choreographed numbers, which is amazing. And it's just really interesting in the sense that it feels like something that hasn't really been done before with the puppets and the ensemble work and the original dance and the original music. So we had a lot of time that was spent just kind of figuring what worked best for the piece. Then it was just rinse and repeat. You just do it over and over and over again and do it as much as you possibly can. And
people think, oh, that's easy when they see it. It should look easy because it's really difficult, and I think that's when you pull it off, that's again impressive.
For prelims, it was a bit of an advantage. When you host, it's a bit of an advantage because you have your home space, and so I think it's really the most difficult aspect of comps is when you travel, and so prelims we were lucky because we didn't have to.
The preliminary round this year was really good for us. We had a really good show. We were recognized for a lot of things that I think some of us didn't expect, which was awesome, because that's a great part of festival is the kids that do really bit things, like small things that people wouldn't think of, are still really appreciated and awarded for those things if they're done well. We ended up moving on, which was a big highlight. And the 2 schools that we moved on with were also really good.
Oh, we're making it to semis. Do better. And
Especially with us hosting prelims, we had to suddenly get used to the traveling aspect. We were used to the dimensions of our stage, so we had to really adjust to a bigger stage.
we got off from such a high that the little things that happened at semis kind of got us down. Not necessarily like we finished strong. We always finish strong. Every little thing that we messed up, we fixed. And that's really important in theater. You cannot give up in your head for a second. You can't do that. And I feel like I was looking around and I think a lot of people thought, okay, if we don't win right now, that's going to be okay. Because I just knew that we had to get this for us, for everyone.
The feeling of moving on is like that feeling of winning a championship anywhere, in any sport or competition. It's really, really fulfilling and rewarding.
You can say, yeah, I've lost, and yeah, I've won. And I feel like that's way more important than saying, yeah, I've always won. Because you've never felt alone, you've never had that drive, that specific drive to win.
Every time you get to the award ceremony and you hear that announcement, it's just this adrenaline rush. And so then when we moved on from semis and going to states, that was just nuts. There was crying, and there was trophy passing and just screaming, and it's insane. So we're so excited. We're gonna go to Boston, and it's gonna be crazy.
It was such a good moment because everyone was like, okay, we did it. And I remember Billy yelling, he said 4M, and everyone screamed 4M. It was such a validation, like, we can do this, and we're doing it for him, and we're doing it for us.
It was really important to a lot of us to get to go to states this year. For those of us who knew Mr. Marcello, this year is dedicated to his memory as he's just passed away, and he was involved for decades.
And especially with this year dedicated to Mr. Marcello is just an unbelievable opportunity. It's so beautiful. It feels like he's helping us move along, and just we want to do this for him, to really honor him.
Winning, it's doing it for a reason and a purpose, which always helps and gives you that extra boost in any competition.
Take this motto with you. Do what is necessary, then what is possible, and suddenly you're doing the impossible.